So a while back, I had bought a Microformer, which if you are not familiar with, it is a Legree reformer. It is a spin-off of the Megaformer, and today I am going to take you through my ab routine. We're going to be starting off with a wheelbarrow today. Hands are on the front platform, knees are on the carriage. I like to keep my hands parallel to one another, deepening the press throughout my palms, pushing my shoulders all the way behind that front platform, and then slowly pulling them back on top to restack over my wrists. Thinking about pulling my hips to my ribs, tucking that tailbone underneath myself. My shoulders are relaxed away from my ears, and I'm trying to push those shoulders as far back as possible before pulling them back in. On a variation here, we're pushing the shoulders as far back as possible, and then we are going to go little in, little out, pulsing 1 inch in, 1 inch out. Coming up on the final full range here, only for 15 more seconds before we head into that saw. We're going to be dropping those elbows onto your front platform, knees stay on that carriage, relaxing those shoulders away from those ears. Same exact movement where we pull those shoulders as far back as possible and then coming slowly back in, restacking the shoulders over the elbows. Making sure to breathe with your movement here. So inhale as you push those shoulders away from that front platform, and then exhale as you pull those shoulders back in. Now we're coming up on that set of pulses one more time. We push those shoulders as far back as possible here, and we pulse it 1 inch in, 1 inch out. We keep it going, and we enter into full range for the last 15 seconds. We're entering into our bear. All we're going to do is replace our elbows with our hands and replace our knees with our feet, hitting a high plank position, making sure our shoulders are pushed away from our ears. Shoulder blades are pinching together. We keep that butt down in line with our back as we slowly pull those knees into the center of our body, stopping right underneath those hips, and then squeezing and pushing those legs back out to that high plank. We're going to pull those knees underneath us, stopping right under your hips, and we have knee dips going 1 inch down, 1 inch up, and finally entering into the last full range here. All right, heading into a twister now, hitting that left oblique. Those hands are gonna go on your high rails, left foot over right foot. Make sure to turn those feet to the side, making them parallel with the front platform. If you don't have those high bars, you can do hands either on the front platform or on the floor with those feet twisted as well. Now that left side of your hip is going to be dropping all the way down, making a 45-degree angle with your body, and then sending that right hip all the way up towards that ceiling, stacking your feet under your hips. Making sure your shoulders are stacked over your wrists here, knuckles are facing the floor. We keep that flat back and slowly push those feet all the way out, squeezing from that left oblique to pull back in. You're gonna stop your feet right behind those hips and slowly start pushing those shoulders back and in, just like a wheelbarrow here. Pulling from that left oblique, your body doesn't move, just the shoulders as far back as you can, and then keep the body frozen, restacking the shoulders over your wrists. Final full range here before we head to the back for your giant reverse twisted saw. Your elbows are going to go down on that back platform, and you're going to stack your right knee over your left knee. Those feet are going to be off of your carriage to the full side, and you're slowly pushing those shoulders as far back as possible, using that left oblique to restack your shoulders over your elbows here. Taking it nice and slow, making sure to breathe in through your nose as those shoulders move back, and out through the mouth as you come back in. Coming up on those pulses, those shoulders push all the way behind. We go 1 inch in, 1 inch out. And final full range. Twisted crunch up next. You're going to start pulling those hips all the way up towards that ceiling. Big crunch in that left oblique. Notice how my head is going through my arms, looking all the way back at my thighs, really curving that spine at the very top. Big crunch in, and we head into those pulses. 1 inch in, 1 inch out. Those abs should be burning already. We go back to your final full range before untwisting those knees. We have a regular crunch here, wide knees to really hit both obliques. We're doing that same exact motion here, just with those knees shoulder width apart, pulling through that belly button all the way to the top, curving that spine. Head looks through those arms, back at your thighs. Ooh, yes, it's gonna burn. Nice and slow movements. We have one hold at the top, entering into those pulses. 1 inch in, 1 inch out. You know what to do. And final full range here. We're going straight into that right oblique. Twisted crunch. We're reversing everything we just did. Elbows stay where they are. This time, left knee over right knee. Start sending that left hip all the way up towards that ceiling, crunching that right oblique. Those feet should be off of your carriage, getting that full twist in your upper body. Crunching it in for those pulses. And full range, last one here. We drop those hips to stay down in line with your spine. Keeping that right hip lifted, don't let it fall as you pull those shoulders all the way behind that back platform. Giant reverse twisted saw on the right side. Don't forget to breathe. Inhale as you push those shoulders back. Exhale as you come back in. Nice and slow movements with those shoulders. I know it burns, but try and get them as far back as possible. We push those shoulders all the way back. Give me those pulses. 1 inch in, 1 inch out. Last one at the back. You can do it. We're going to be heading to the front after your last full range here. Only 15 seconds left. We head to the front for that right twister. Hands are going to go up on those high rails. This time your right foot goes over your left foot, twisting those feet so that your feet are parallel to that front platform. Making sure your shoulders are stacked over your wrists and your knuckles are facing downward. We drop that right hip all the way down, hitting that 45-degree angle. Deepening the press through your feet, lifting that left hip up, pulling those feet under your hips. Crunching that right oblique. We're coming up on the very end of this routine, you guys. You can do it. We're coming up on the very end of this routine, you guys. You can do it. We have that one variation. We stop those feet directly behind our hips, and we're focusing on those shoulders, making this into our wheelbarrow, pushing those shoulders as far back as possible, keeping the body frozen and pulling those shoulders back on top of our wrists. We have one last full range here. 15 seconds to go. You can do it. And you made it through. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you guys want to see next.